Chapter 31. Like a Glove. Axis Car Rental, Headquarters. The fire exit door bursts open in perfect synchronization with the opening bar to Climbing Up the Walls. Jameson, Penny and Black rush out onto the roof of the Axis building. Jameson immediately skids to a halt. Penny and Black fall in behind him. The dark silhouette of a man against the backdrop of the full moon, with his back turned, dressed in a long black trench coat that dances and flaps in the cool breeze, stands alone upon a small safety wall which surrounds the outskirts of the roof. He is holding some kind of device in his hand.
"There he is,"
Jameson says. He slowly edges towards the wall.
"Who?"
Black cries.
"The devil."
The silhouette chuckles.
"Whatever happened to Ace?"
Good question, Jameson says, approaching the edge but maintaining distance between himself and Ace.
I am the key to the lock in your heart that keeps your ties in the basement. And if you
Jameson climbs up onto the wall.
"What the hell are you doing?"
It's okay. I just want to talk,
Be careful,
Penny says, distraught.
please.
"You'd better listen to them, kid."
Ace says, his face now lit up in the moonlight. Jameson realises that Ace is dressed in exactly the same black cargo pants and sweater from the memory of his New York apartment with Melissa. Ace removes his coat and lets it drop to the street below.
"It's a long way down."
Jameson automatically looks down and lightly swoons, almost losing his balance. Penny gasps. Ace sniggers, but Jameson regains his composure.
"I'm okay."
He calls to Penny. Jameson and Ace turn and face each other.
either way you turn, I'll be there. Open up your skull, and I'll be there. Climbing up the wall.
They glare at each other, knowing it was always coming to this.
"So why are you here?"
Ace asks, grinning.
"I'm here to stop you." "Stop me? From doing what exactly? Standing on a rooftop? Enjoying the night?"
Ace draws in a deep breath and exhales.
"I know you're up to something. Something more sinister." "My, you are a sucker for melodrama, aren't you, kid?"
I thought I made it clear not to call me that.
"Well, what do you want me to call you? Archer? Jameson? Father? Ace? Do you even know who you are anymore?"
Of course I do.
"Sure you do.
Ace glances at the bump on Jameson's head.
Pretty nasty bump.
Yeah, no thanks to you.
Nothing to do with me."
Ace shrugs.
More lies. Then who gave me the bump?
As I recall, you were wandering around in the dark.
And?
And you walked into the wall.
Penny bursts out laughing.
Bullshit.
Jameson declares, turning to Penny.
Good one, Father.
She smiles at him, still chuckling.
Please don't call me that.
Penny's chuckling fades. She tries to hide a frown. Ace notices.
Your own children can't even convince you of the truth. She's come all this way.
Ace says, gesturing his hand towards Penny.
Forever faithful, forever loyal. And now she is standing here, standing by you, again, worried sick about you. And still, you deny her?
Jameson gazes down at Penny. She looks up at him with fearful eyes.
Father, please, come down from there.
She says, her voice trembling. Jameson feels overwhelmed with emotion, with uncertainty. His mind returns to a previous vision. Melissa, lying on a bed, smiling lovingly up at him. There are tears of joy in her eyes, and blood on his hands. It's Melissa's blood. A nurse lays a newborn baby onto Melissa's chest. Melissa looks down at her baby, crying with happiness. The blood is from the delivery. Penny's birth.
Wait a minute.
Jameson gasps, pulling himself from the memory. He points at Ace.
Penny is your daughter.
That's right.
Ace smiles.
I helped bring her into this world.
What?
Jameson asks, confused.
Then why do I have your memories of her birth?
Ace shakes his head, his expression between pity and sorrow.
Why do you think?
Jameson shakes his head uncontrollably as the foundations of his reality begin to crumble. Wails a man's hideously beautiful voice from somewhere before he proceeds to scream down the microphone.
Listen, son. Please listen to your daughter. Don't ever call me that.
Ace yells, glaring at Black.
You lost the right to call me son. A long time ago.
Jameson looks to Black, who is devastated, and then back to Ace, shocked.
Black is your father?
Again, Ace just shakes his head.
He's our father.
What are you talking about?
Jameson says, screwing up his face at the idea.
That's ridiculous. That would mean you and I are related.
You just won't accept it, will you? The truth staring you right in the face.
Ace turns to Black.
Why don't you tell him your real name? Assistant Director Black. Sir Daddy-O?
Jameson turns to Black, who is gazing up at him, emotional and desperately shaking his head.
The goodness in you doesn't recognize me at all.
Jameson can see that look in Black's eyes again. Care. A father's deep concern for his son.
My father?
Jameson's memory takes him back onto the deck of that ship on stormy seas. Waves crash into the windows of the bridge with such force that they might implode any second. As a man, the captain at the helm fights with the wheel and struggles to keep control. The captain is Black.
It's true. I am your father.
Black says, as tears stream down his face.
It can't be. I never knew my father.
Oh no? And what do you remember of your mother?
Jameson opens his mouth to speak, but no words are spoken. His mind takes him back to the childhood memory, to the bridge of the ship, strapped into that chair. He watches the captain jam the wheel hard to port to try and take an exceptionally large wave head on. He calls to someone for aid, and a woman joins him at the helm and grips the wheel. Jameson recognises the woman from his dream and now knows her to be his mother. The ship is too slow to make the manoeuvre, and the wave crashes into the ship side on, smashing through the windows and the bridge door. The whole ship tips onto its side. The cold ocean pours into the bridge until it is fully submerged. Jameson is fully submerged, holding his breath. He helplessly kicks his arms and legs. He panics, trying to unfasten the straps. He thinks he might drown. But then the ship rolls back onto its belly. The water pours out of the cabin, through open doors and windows. Jameson finally exhales and draws in a breath of air. Black, his father, clings to the wheel, tightly, drenched, coughing and spluttering, catching his breath. Jameson quickly scans the bridge for his mother, but she is gone. Jameson pulls himself away from the memory and slowly looks up at Ace.
That's right. She's dead.
No.
Jameson mumbles. He looks at Black, who is gently weeping.
Tell me it's not true.
I am so sorry.
Lost at sea.
Penny says softly, clearly weeping too. Jameson cries out into the night and breaks down for a moment. The sound of a piano being played can be heard, perhaps coming from the cathedral. A melancholic accompaniment for Jameson's heartbreak. A soulful crooner begins to sing softly, shrouded in reverb.
Sing me to sleep, sing me to sleep. I'm tired and I want to go to bed.
She should never have been on that ship.
Ace scowls, glaring at Black again.
None of us should have been on that ship. Not that ship.
It was an accident. How was I to know?
Oh, cut the bullshit, Dad. If you were counseling yourself, your diagnosis would read a heavy case of denial.
Ace turns to Jameson.
Like father, like son.
Jameson grimaces through glassy eyes.
That's not fair.
You knew that storm was forecast. But you just kept chasing them down, didn't you? Couldn't let them get away, could you? Couldn't let them give you the slip, could you? No whale gives Captain Ventura the slip, even if it means putting his family in mortal danger. Isn't that right, Dad?
Jameson turns to Black.
I don't know what to believe anymore. Tell me straight. No denials. No lies. Who are you really, Black?
Black stares deep into Jameson's eyes. He straightens up his posture and clears his throat.
My name is John, but my surname is not Black. My name is John Ventura. I am your father.
Jameson stares into the man before him and knows he is sincere.
He's telling the truth.
Penny confirms.
Half-truth, estranged father, would be more accurate.
That was your choice. Never mine.
A choice you forced me to make. It was less of a choice, more of an inevitability. You think I wanted anything to do with a murderer? Like you?
John exhales a breath, as if he has been punched in the stomach.
For Christ's sake!
Jameson says to Ace, through tearful eyes.
That's a bit strong. It was an accident, albeit a devastating one, but surely you can see that.
I'm not talking about poor old Mumsy, or fish food, as I like to affectionately call her.
You're a sick son of a bitch.
Ace just grins.
You do realize you just called your own mother a bitch?
He shrugs.
Of course Mumsy's death was an accident. You don't have to tell me. I was there. I'm talking about the other murdering. Daddy's dark desire to destroy whales for $30.
Jameson recalls the dream he had. The ocean. The humpback. The ship that chased them down. The ship was his father's ship. A whaling ship.
It's coming back to you now.
Ace smiles.
I remember being on that deck, watching those magnificent creatures. The blood, dragging them aboard. The gunfire.
Jameson looks to his father.
Captain Ventura, you were a whaling boat captain.
John looks genuinely regretful.
Why do you think I got the hell out of there as soon as I was old enough? Why do you think I feel so strongly about animal welfare? Not just whales, but all animals. Seeing my father orchestrating mass murder all through my childhood? There's your white devil,
He cries, pointing at John.
There's the original. My inspiration. My role model.
I never forced you to take part. Not like my father did with me when I was a boy. To me, it was just normality. A living. Tradition, even. But I knew the effects the hunts were having on you. Knew you were different. That it pained you. Deeply. That you would never accept it. And ultimately, that you would never accept me for what I was. I knew I was losing you. Losing your respect. And, of course, everything with losing your mother. I was too slow to change, to fix it. Then she was gone. You followed soon after. I lost you both.
John breaks down. Penny wraps a consoling arm around him. Jameson looks down at them, emotional and forgiving.
Hey, John. Sounds to me like you need to find yourself a good therapist.
Ace smiles.
Can't you see his heart is breaking?
Don't get all sentimental, kid. You lost your mother because this man was on a murderous quest to waste some whales.
I gave it up. Sold my ship, my father's ship.
John yells, angry at Ace's unrelenting bitterness.
Went and studied natural medicine and psychology. Became a therapist. I wanted to help people. Do something good in the world. All that murder, you're right. I see it for what it was. But I've been on the path of redemption ever since. I only wish I had done it all sooner. Maybe then,
John wells up again.
I would not have lost my family.
You haven't lost us. We're here, together now, aren't we?
Penny looks up at her father and shrugs.
For 5 of us?
Jameson shakes his head.
So you are a therapist.
Yes. Penny found me online. contacted me through my practice. A little while after Melissa's accident.
Melissa, Jameson and Ace whisper simultaneously as the solo piano plays on. Jameson looks down at the streets below him, but they are not empty anymore. They are full of people, hundreds, maybe thousands, with banners and flyers and drums, some singing and some slogan chanting. It's a protest. He is not in Cleveland anymore. These are the streets of New York. The protest is rowdy. Riot police have cordoned off streets, kettling a small group of protesters. Tempers are flaring and tension is high. Protesters begin testing the line of police, pushy and shouting. The riot police hide behind their riot shields and gas masks as tear gas is fired into the crowd. Now the police move, pushing back the protesters, looking for arrests. In the confusion, some of the protesters become isolated. Jameson spots a man frantically searching through the murk of the gas. Jameson spots a woman 100 meters or so away from the man. She is disorientated, her hands out in front of her, her sight obviously impaired by the gas. Jameson catches movement, something moving fast towards the woman. It is a horse with a police officer mounted on its back. Jameson can see the trajectory of the horse as it tears towards the woman, closer and closer. Neither the woman or the mounted police officer can see through the noxious mist.
For Christ's sake! Look out!
Jameson screams down to her. It is too late. The animal proceeds to plough through the woman, knocking her down. Powerful legs and hard hooves trample the woman as the officer struggles to gain control of the beast.
Oh no!
Jameson cries. The man in the street is running towards the scene. He drops to his knees beside the woman, who is lying face down in a pool of blood. The man turns her over. Jameson's vision seems to zoom closer. He knows her face. Those glacial blue eyes. Those cold, dead eyes. Melissa. Jameson bursts into tears. The man looks up and screams. Jameson recognizes the man's face. It is his own face, Ace Ventura's face. They seem to peer at each other for a moment, across time and space, lost in the insanity of overwhelming grief. 3 riot police close in on Ace and are soon wrestling him onto his stomach. As they try to handcuff him, he just gazes at Melissa's dead eyes. Jameson gazes at her eyes. The sparkle that made him fall in love with her from the beginning, gone. Forever. Jameson screams into the night.
No!
He breaks down again, and the piano begins to quieten. You see, Ace says, standing next to him, looking down.
Those cops just murdered your wife in the street. Look at them. Brainwashed automatons in arrest mode. Not one of them concerned with the corpse lying there next to them. Not one of them calling an ambulance.
Jameson rubs his wrist.
Oh, you remember that too? One of them knelt on it so hard it broke, before they dragged you off into the back of a van to be processed. Took 2 hours, before they finally confirmed she was dead. Some of them even joked about it. The irony, they said. Poor bitch protesting for the rights of animals, and then an animal ends up killing her. Do you remember?
Jameson closes his eyes and nods.
Those bastards.
He scowls.
And you want to put the fate of the world in their hands? The police, the FBIs and CIAs of this world? And I tried to get justice for her. Demanded it. Did it their way. Through their laws. Their system. And what happened? The officer responsible walked free. You're damn right he did. They let a murderer go free because he was one of their own. It's one rule for them and another for us.
Jameson pulls himself away from his memory-induced vision and looks up at Ace.
You know,
Ace says,
I was born from that event. I maybe had no sense of my emerging identity at the time, but the devil rose out of the ashes of that event, and the broken man I became. And look where it's led you,
Jameson says, as he braces himself for the battering ram of truth that is breaching its way into his mind.
On a rooftop, having a conversation with yourself. Look who's talking. Who is talking? Ace? The White Devil? Jameson? We're all one and the same.
And that is what I can't accept. Because that would make me a psychotic murderer. Like you. I am not the White Devil. I am not that kind of man.
Jameson's mind recalls the memory of Ankra, watching him being lowered down into the meat grinder. Only the perspective is different this time. It is his own hand on the grinder controls. Jameson panics and pulls himself out of his memory. Ace sighs.
It's one step forward, two steps back with you. Do you know that?
Okay, if we are one and the same, like you say, I want us to know that if we are to carry on together, as Ace, I will not take another life. Surely all this White Devil madness has run its course.
The White Devil could still be useful.
This is a deal breaker. I'm not being Ace if it means being the devil. I will do everything in my power to stop you, hinder you, and generally be a jobby in your soup.
Ace laughs out loud.
Waiter, there's a jobby in my soup. And you say I'm the crazy one? What the hell is a jobby?
Jameson looks confused for a moment. I don't know, he says, shaking his head. Maybe I picked it up in Scotland?
Look, I need my life back. I need Ace back. All of him.
What a peculiar thing to say.
Peculiar is definitely the right word. My life is complicated enough without Archers and Jamesons. There are too many hands on the wheel, too many cooks in the kitchen.
Hang on. You created me.
I realize that. I just don't know how to get rid of you. Don't take that the wrong way. You have kind of taken over. You and the devil, I guess. Even though I am strangely grateful to you both. But I feel the devil's appetite is insatiable. And you? Well, you're deeply in denial about who we are.
Ace and Jameson stare at each other for a moment, sharing a silent agreement that this conversation is particularly odd.
No, I get it.
Jameson shrugs.
At least more so than I ever have. Ankra, I imagined the White Devil murdering that man. It couldn't be me. I'm not that kind of man. I'm a good man, a lawman. So I imagined someone else committing those murders. All of them.
Jameson's memory takes him back to the slaughterhouse, holding the gun, pointing it at Ace. Only now, he is holding the gun to his own head, and Tafari is telling him to put it down.
Put the gun down.
Penny flashes into his mind.
Jameson, thanks for not shooting my father.
Jameson is on the brink of truth. He can feel all the pieces of a carefully constructed puzzle coming together to form a complete picture, a complete story. A story he knows he can hardly believe, but one he knows he must believe.
Ace smiles. Welcome back. You've been gone for some time. Do you know you actually believed you were a 20-something FBI agent?
Jameson shrugs and chuckles.
I don't know what happened.
He smiles nervously.
I was convinced I was Jameson. Joshua Jameson. I don't know. Now it just feels weird to even say it. Jameson? No, I'm Ace. Ace Ventura. I get it. FBI?
Father, are you okay?
Penny asks. Jameson nods and holds his hand up to her.
I'm fine, sweetheart.
He shrugs. He turns back to Ace, who wears a devilish grin.
So, I'm Ace, you're Ace, we're both Ace, and the White Devil, who is also Ace.
Ace says nothing. He just stares at Jameson, grinning.
We are all the same man who is talking to himself. I am talking to one's own self on a rooftop.
Jameson looks slightly bewildered by his own statement.
So, are you imagining me, or am I imagining you? Or do we take turns, or...?
Ace nods.
Sometimes I'm in control, aware. Sometimes not. Like a blackout. Sometimes I know what you're thinking. Sometimes you are a mystery. Sometimes we interact. It's complicated, but I imagine it works both ways.
I don't know if I can get used to this. It's like I'm never quite sure who is real, and in the moment...
Jameson smiles. Ace continues to stare.
So, what am I really doing up here?
Ace raises his hand, holding the device. He turns to the skyline and points it at the surrounding area.
You see, All this time then, you have been lying to yourself? Thinking you were some young and fresh-faced goody-two-shoes lawman? I have also been lying to myself. I've been telling myself for so long that I believed it, that my fight is for the animals of this world. And that much is true. But the devil has blinded me to something that has always been a big part of my core. To help the innocent. To save them. So, I lied to myself. And you, Jameson, when I said my fight is solely for the animals. It was a lie to say that I care not for my own species of animal. My fellow humans. Because I do. I really do. Okay! It's a kind of love-hate relationship. I love to hate them. No, it's just... humans are cruel and insane. Yes. But then they go and do something amazing. And I feel my icy heart shatter. And there is a part of me that knows that they too are worth saving. Worth fighting for.
Well, Jameson smiles. That's great news.
I care that when I look out at this district, for example, I see the temples of enslavement used to control us, weaken us, and hold back the revolution in consciousness that is happening on this planet.
Okay.
Jameson screws up his face, uncertain where Ace is going.
That's not so great news.
Take a look.
Ace says, pointing the device at a particular building.
The Federal Reserve Bank, Cleveland branch. Just one of 24 in the United States. The Federal Reserve System has been oppressing innocent humans through debt and holding back progress through the corrupt monetary system for far too long. And here,
Ace points to the cathedral.
religion. The most segregating, pernicious dogmas of delusion ever to be conceived. Enslaving innocent humans with the ideas that we're all sinners from birth. While priests, dishing out the divine commandments on one hand, have the other up the cassock of the nearest altar boy. They're probably in there now, dressed up in their fancy dress costumes, teabagging a choir boy to death as part of some twisted sacrificial ceremony to oppose some supernatural behemoth. Evil hypocrites!
Ace screams down to the cathedral. His voice resonates around the bell tower and rings off the bell.
Quiet! Or the evil hypocrites might hear us and call the police or something,
Jameson says, looking down at the cathedral for signs of life.
No, they won't. There's nobody in there. I've had the place cleared.
What? Wait, what do you mean, cleared?
Ace, Cleveland cell. We swept through the area. The banks, parking lots, the cathedral. It's all been cleared. And no, before you freak out, nobody was killed. A few injured, yes. But they just wouldn't come quietly. See, Jameson, you're not all that bad. I meant it when I said I'm grateful to you. Sincerely, I understand it now. That you've been trying to protect me all along. That it was never I, Ace, that was your enemy. It was the devil. You were trying to protect me from the devil all along. You've been like a mechanism for slowly recalling the traumas in my life. Traumas I had suppressed. And with each memory you uncovered, I, in turn, was able to deal with each rediscovery. You helped me to transcend the pain, to find restraint. Penny and... okay, Father of the Year and Therapist Extraordinaire over there, were right to let you flourish. To let you be a guide out of the darkness.
Well, I'm glad I've been of some use. And you helped me to vent?
Jameson shrugs.
Let off some steam, if I can call it that.
See, your naivety and optimism, your blind faith in humanity, that we can overcome and be a force for good in this world? Well, a little of it rubbed off onto me. What can I say? You showed me there can be another way, other than the White Devil's murderous vendetta, where people don't have to die in a hideous yet ironically pleasing kind of way. So Ace are under strict orders tonight. No killing.
Well, that's reassuring to hear you say that, Ace. Or me, I should say. But I'm still not grasping why the area has been cleared at all.
So no one dies in the explosions, of course.
Explosions? Jameson gasps. He glances at the device in Ace's hand, a detonator.
Still not catching on.
Ace smiles. turning to Jameson.
I'm going to blow up some buildings.
What?
What?
Can I press the button?
That
Ace says with a beaming smile, pointing his finger at Penny.
is my daughter.
Penny blushes and waves at him.
For Christ's sake, Penny!
John says, surprised at her eagerness. He turns to his son.
Murder, bombs, and buildings? Ace! When will this madness stop? How many more people have to die at the hands of the devil?
Ace turns to his father. As he does, he drops his hand holding the detonator by his side. Jameson nervously glances at it again.
Didn't you hear me, Pop? No killing. Okay, you were right about me. It is all fun and games. And I've created this. All of this. The biggest game of all. But I'm being serious this time. No killing. I'm trying to change. I'm trying things Jameson's way.
Ace turns to Jameson and catches his eyes fixed on the detonator in his hand. Jameson quickly looks up.
Blowing up buildings, huh?
He says, his smile failing to hide his anxiety.
Yeah. Controlled demolition.
Ace shrugs, carefully studying Jameson's eyes.
Going to 9/11 then. If you're me, you should know which ones. Right.
Of course. But there's obviously some kind of delayed reaction. Like our consciousness hasn't aligned properly yet, or something.
Ace just nods at Jameson.
The Federal Reserve Bank, the Cathedral, and 3 other surrounding banks. The names of them will come to you, no doubt.
There is a moment of stillness and silence.
This is going to send such a huge message to the world. Do it, Father.
Penny, enough! Ace, I'm your father, and I know that doesn't mean much to you right now. But know this, I love you. I always have, and I would very much like to get to know you again. All of you, my family. But not like this. Vigilantism and terrorism?
You can use whatever ism you want to try and understand what we are doing here. But what you don't grasp, sitting pretty in your privileged and blinkered world of riches and quackery, trying to convince Hollywood stars that they are not the deluded megalomaniacs that they most certainly are, that this is not terrorism, this is war. And when we win this war, and we will, and we write history, the people who stood up in the face of such adversity, in the face of such monstrosity, in the face of their own annihilation, will be hailed as heroes, freedom fighters, and liberators.
So you're just going to blow up some buildings. What do you think that will achieve?
Like Penny said, it's a message. Lead by example.
Can't any of you see this as madness? How do you intend to fight a war without killing?
I'm going to give it a try.
Ace shrugs.
But first,
He smiles.
blow stuff up.
Don't do it, son. You're going to get someone killed. Can't you see you're making the same mistake I did? By dragging your family into a dangerous situation? Your daughter could be killed in the blast. Don't you care?
Of course I care.
Can't you see you're sick, son?
Ace huffs.
Hey, wait a minute.
Penny protests.
No, you wait. He's up there still talking to himself, Penny. Dissociative identity disorder. That's the clinical term for it.
Maybe you should listen to him.
Jameson says to Ace. Ace shakes his head, disappointed.
You're supposed to be me. On my side. On our side. You know, it's funny. You'd think that since the big revelation, the dawning that we are indeed one man, Ace Ventura, that one of us would disappear, or we'd come back together. Spiritually, or something.
Jameson laughs nervously, his eyes taking another involuntary fleeting glimpse of the detonator.
Maybe it just takes some time. I mean, who knows how the human brain works, huh?
Ace just smiles.
Unless you're still not convinced fully that there's still a tiny bit of doubt that you are, indeed, Ace Ventura.
No, listen. I accept it. All of it. My childhood, the whaling ship, my mother's death, blaming and hating my father. But I don't hate you, Father. Not anymore.
Jameson looks at John, who solemnly lowers his eyes. John looks up again. I don't blame you, Jameson says. For her death? John's eyes well up.
Do you mean that?
He asks. Yes, but Ace... Sorry. I was right about one thing.
Oh, yeah.
All those whales? What an asshole.
I second that.
Penny says, smiling. John nods.
I deserve that.
Growing up around all that cruelty, all that death, I knew I could never be a part of it. I knew I had to be the opposite of my father, to be a protector of the innocent, a liberator of animals. I soon became a pet detective. I remember, there was this one case where I had to rescue some lady's dog. The disgruntled ex had taken it out of spite kind of thing. Anyway, she was ever so grateful to see that little dog again, and she had the biggest pair of...
Whoa there!
Ace blurts, cutting Jameson off.
Okay, we get it. It's all flooding back. Our daughter is standing right there.
We had some crazy times, didn't we? Jameson smiles at Ace.
Yeah,
Ace says genuinely.
we did.
And then there was the snowflake case, Jameson says, recalling the memory of the Miami Dolphins mascot.
What a bunch of exploitative, meat-headed dicks. I mean, who the hell has a real dolphin for a mascot?
Exactly, Jameson smiles as more memories flood his mind. That's where I met Melissa. Ace sighs.
Yeah, beautiful.
Memories come thick and fast to Jameson. He suddenly feels deeply hurt. Oh, that poor raccoon. And Spike! Jameson grimaces. Ace wipes a solitary tear from his otherwise carefully composed face.
Rest in peace, buddies.
The monastery. Africa. You could say it. Bat. Ace cries as his body uncontrollably trembles.
Okay, I take it back. Never say the B word. Ever.
Tefari's mother. Ace smiles again.
Of course. The princess. Beautiful. Irresistible. Obviously.
I remember returning to Miami. Melissa and I rekindled our relationship. We set up Ace. Together.
That's right. Becoming vegans. The activism. The protests.
Penny! Jameson blurts, turning his attention to her. Then you arrived.
Yes.
Penny beams.
And Paul.
Of course. We were happy.
Until Tefari's mother was killed.
Ace reminds Jameson. Yeah, a bittersweet time. Tefari officially joined her family.
And then there was the protest. In New York.
It was an accident. You do know that.
What?
Ace says, becoming enraged.
You just witnessed again what happened. In vivid detail. And you're gonna stand there and try and tell me it was an accident?
If I am you, you should know that I believe it was an accident. I never used to. I remember the court case, the resentment. I remember escaping from the pain through alcohol and drugs. Losing track of time, of myself. It all gets a little blurry. Jameson turns to Penny. I must have been a terrible father. I'm so sorry,
I don't blame you, Father.
Penny says, with tearful eyes.
None of us do. As a child, you witnessed the death of your own mother. And as an adult, you witnessed the death of your wife, the mother of your children. You lost both mothers of your children. The hardest part was watching you self-destruct and not knowing how to help you. And that's when I contacted your father. I knew he was a therapist. I just didn't know what else to do.
It's fine.
Ace says, smiling at his daughter. You did the right thing, Jameson reassures her. And listen, he says, turning to Ace. I don't blame you for what I became, the devil that I became, the killings. I forgive you. Ace looks spooked.
Okay, stop. You're freaking me out with all this talk. I'm not looking for your forgiveness or your understanding. I did what I had to do. I believed in what I was doing. The scum I was eradicating, they did deserve to die. and not be processed through a system that is flawed, bought, and corrupt. There is no other way to bring justice to these people. The Royals, the Rothschilds, and the Rockefellers, the Mafias, Vanguard, BlackRock, and other corporate criminals of this world. Their time is coming.
Jameson opens his mouth to speak.
It won't be by my hand,
Ace continues.
I'm trying it your way, remember? But this revolution is well underway. The war is in full swing. I can't control everyone, and I certainly can't be held accountable for their actions.
Now who's in denial? If you press the button on that detonator, you said it would send the world a message. But what kind of message?
Ace thinks for a moment.
That the old systems and institutions of abuse and slavery must be destroyed.
Exactly. You're inciting your followers, or any other person just nutty enough to go through with it, to rebel.
Yes?
Ace shrugs.
By blowing up buildings.
I think you're missing the bigger picture here.
No, I think you are.
Look!
Ace pulls his glare away from his father and faces Jameson. Why don't you just give me the detonator?
What?
Ace says, pulling it towards his body slightly.
No, I'm in two minds here, actually. Or is it three minds?
No, it's one mind. Look, it's all becoming clearer and clearer to me. I get it. I'm Ace Ventura, and it's you that is the imposter here.
What?
Ace says, taken aback.
You're seriously creeping me out with that kind of talk.
I'm Ace Ventura, and I agree with my father. We're not blowing up those buildings. Now, give me the detonator. Ace looks to Jameson, then to John, and then back to Jameson.
Nice try, Jameson.
Ace smiles. There is no Jameson, remember? Only Ace. Now I demand you give me that detonator. Ace just laughs hysterically.
If you've got it all worked out, why are you demanding that I give you the detonator? When really, you're asking yourself for it.
Ace laughs again as Jameson struggles to come to terms with his ever-updating reality.
Of course. I have the detonator.
Already! I have all along. Jameson looks down at his own hand and is shocked to find it clutching the device. Ace panics as he notices.
Shit, that kind of backfired,
he says, and lunges at Jameson. They grapple with each other precariously on the ledge.
Careful!
Ace grabs the device as he struggles with Jameson. They stare into each other's strained eyes, willful, determined, and at odds with each other.
Let go! You let go!
For Christ's sake!
John shouts.
You'll fall to your death!
Jameson manages to tear his hand, holding the device, away from Ace's clutches. Jameson laughs at his small victory. He has not noticed that he has pressed the detonator switch in the process. A red LED bulb lights up on the device. Ace notices.
Whoopsie,
he says, staring at the detonator. Jameson looks at the device.
Oh boy,
he whispers. There is a moment of tense anticipation. Jameson shrugs. Shouldn't there be a boom? Or... He is interrupted by the sounds of extremely loud explosions as buildings all around them blow up in fast, bright fireballs. The shockwaves hit the access board, causing it to shake. Penny and John are knocked off their feet. Ace and Jameson struggle to keep their balance. Ace loses his footing and begins to fall over the side of the building.
Gravity!
Jameson tries to grab him, and as he does, he is pulled over the edge with Ace. Ace manages to grasp onto the ledge by his fingertips, and Jameson manages to grab hold of Ace's boots. They both gasp and strain in their imaginary struggle to hold on.
I can't hold on for long.
Ace cries, desperately readjusting his grip.
You'll have to climb. Climb up me.
Jameson swings precariously from Ace's feet. He manages to pull himself up a little and grab onto Ace's cargo pants, which begin to slowly slide down Ace's legs.
Whoa! Hang on there!
Ace cries. But it is too late. As Jameson's weight and gravity do their work, Ace's pants are pulled down around his ankles, exposing his bare bottom to the world. Jameson notices and can't help but laugh.
Commando!
He calls up to Ace.
Of course! And now the whole world knows it too! Nothing to be ashamed of. We've got an ace ass. Ace, very funny.
Ace says, trying to readjust his grip again. His arms are weakening.
What isn't so funny is the fact that I'm slipping. I can't take both our weight.
Jameson knows it. He knows they are both facing death, that if he holds on any longer, he will weaken Ace until they both fall. The piano returns, and the haunting, yet strangely nonchalant, solitary voice begins to sing again.
Sing me to sleep, sing me to sleep. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. Sing me to sleep.
Jameson knows he may have to sacrifice himself to save Ace.
You were being honest when you said you're going to try things my way. No killing, right? Yeah, I meant it. Promise me you will stick to it. Promise me you will banish the devil from your life. From our family's lives. It won't be easy. Promise me! I promise.
Father!
Comes a voice. It is Penny.
Perhaps I am the white devil after all. Because there's one more life I have to take. What are you saying? You look after her? All of them?
Ace realizes Jameson's intentions.
Just hold on.
Ace gasps. As he uses the last of his strength, his arms beginning to shake uncontrollably.
We can both make it. We can continue Ace. Together. Protect our family. Together. If I hold on, I'm just gonna get you killed. If not here and now, eventually. If you're true to your word and stick to your promise, I've done all I can do.
Ace loses his grip in one arm, and it falls by his side. He cries out in pain and anguish as he clings onto the ledge for his life with one hand.
Just take my hand.
He calls down to Jameson.
Climb up.
Jameson manages to reach up and grab Ace's hand. Ace looks down at Jameson's calm face. They stare into each other.
No killing.
Ace nods.
No killing.
Ace feels two strong hands clutching his other arm. He looks up to see John holding onto his forearm, struggling to pull him up. Ace smiles down to Jameson.
It's Dad. He's got us.
But Jameson is pulling his hand free. Ace shakes his head.
No. Don't do it.
Pull him up! Pull him up!
Penny squeals.
I can't. He's just too heavy.
Penny tries to help.
Don't feel bad for me. I want you to know. Deep in the sail of my heart, I really want to go.
Ace squeezes every last drop of strength into his hand.
Even facing your own death, you still won't let go.
Jameson smiles.
We're almost there. Just hang on, kid. I've got you. I've got you.
Jameson's hand pulls away, and he falls, quick and silent. Ace reaches up and looks at his own empty, trembling hand.
Like a glove.
John and Penny slowly pull Ace up to safety, and they all collapse onto the rooftop, out of breath. Penny cuddles her father, weeping.
Ace.
John asks. Ace nods.
Yeah. It's me. Jameson.
Ace breaks down and hugs his daughter.
He's gone.
There is another world. There is a better world. Well, there must be.
John nods. He gets to his feet. Penny helps Ace onto his feet, and they look out at the destruction. The cathedral spire crumbles and falls to the ground, creating a giant pile of rubble and a cloud of dust, and the bell clangs loudly as it hits the road. A neighbouring building that used to be a bank topples onto the Federal Reserve Bank and crushes what is left of it. Fires bellow out large plumes of black smoke into the night and the distant wail of police sirens and car and business alarms sound like a symphony of electronic wildlife.
Awesome.
Penny smiles. John shakes his head. He turns to Ace.
And what of the White Devil?
I don't think we'll be seeing much more of him either.
Ace looks up. Something is flying towards him through the bellowing smoke. For a moment, he panics.
Bat?
Penny looks up and notices. She squints.
Edgar?
A small white bird majestically breaks through the smog with beams of light flashing around it and lands on the ledge in front of them all. Now John notices.
Oh my God, is that a sign? A dove?
The side of Ace's mouth turns upwards, stretching into a knowing grin.
Not quite. That's a true albino pigeon. I haven't seen one in a long time. I'm gonna take that as a good omen.
John clicks his fingers.
I've got it. What about the White Angel?
Ace considers the suggestion for a moment. He looks at Penny. They both turn to John.
Too cheesy.
So, what now?
Well, we head back to HQ. Back home. Take it from there.
Son,
Yes, Father.
maybe you should pull up your pants first.
They all look down to see Ace's pants still around his ankles and begin laughing hysterically until tears roll down their cheeks.
Good call.
Ace smiles.
But before I do, there's just one more thing I have to do.
He shuffles forward and carefully climbs the wall again. He stands up straight, silhouetted by the moon, facing the city and the smouldering ruins of the district. Ace slowly turns around, bends over, reaches back, parts his arse cheeks, and draws in a long breath. The howling holler of Tarzan can be heard echoing through the chaotic streets of the concrete jungle below. The end. for Jim.
Are you there, Ace?